Hello, Central Zone 2 pastors, especially Chairman, Pastor Edson, and the Secretary, Pastor Carlo Gil, and members of the ADCOM. I would like to present this proposal to you. Let me share to you my screen. Uh, Early this morning, at around 8 o'clock, Dr. Mergal of the SSD actually gave me a surprise call on Messenger, uh, telling me about his exploration of the possibility that any of the churches right here in Thailand uh, can be ready to hold these two things that he is proposing. Okay, what is he proposing? Are these two things? One is public evangelism, and the second is biblical research 2020. He just wants that the budget for this year 2020 will be used by NDRIEL, and so he is proposing or exploring the possibility that any of our churches, English speaking churches, will be able to hold a public evangelism. Of course, that is a culmination of NDRIEL public evangelism. It should be in November, anytime in November, because December is too late already for these speakers, who will be any of them: Pastor Kevin Costello, the Associate Executive Secretary, Pastor Zamko, Adventist Mission Director, and or Dr. Samuel Wang, in charge of Chinese evangelism. The budget for that is 2,500 US dollars. And if there will be no English speaking churches available to hold an evangelistic meeting, public evangelism, then it can be accommodated by any of the churches, the Filipinos, and they will find Filipino speakers also. Initially, I have talked this already with my 4 churches, and so pending your recommendation, I will have a proposal right at the end of this video. In case you can decide right away, then we can coincide with the decision that we can make. If not, then my 4 churches will hold. The second part, which should be the first one, is the Biblical Research 2020, that it should be on 1 month from now. It should be in October. Okay, so ideally I have there at the next page my proposal, my motion for this one. And this public evangelism and also biblical research 2020 will be done in Zoom. Okay, so we are charged to identify some issues that are relevant to our place here in Thailand. Not so in-depth to prepare enough time for interaction also with the audience. And we can choose a topic with some of our scholars like Dr. Agustin or somebody from AIU, and inform Dr. Mergel as soon as possible for the budget proposal. Okay, regarding the evangelistic team that will be organized, it is us who will decide, also with the Biblical Research Institute. I should say Biblical Research 2020, not Biblical Research Institute. There is no goal for this evangelistic meeting, no goals for souls, but they expect a total member involvement of the care groups. The part of the SSD is only in the release of the budget. So it is our part to organize it. And so once this is clear already, let me reiterate that in October, It should be first the biblical research 2020. It can be done, in a few days, or if it is needed that we can have more discussion, or public evangelism I should say, and public evangelism in November. So these two events, October and November, I know this is very short time notice, but this is not my control. This is a sort of emergency by the SSD giving us a chance before this 2020 ends that we will have this kind of events here budgeted by them. And so the budget for the Biblical Research 2020 will be under proposal, subject for approval by the SSD. And so after this, let me make my motion. I move that the Central Zone 2 pastors will decide before Vespers, tomorrow, Friday, September 11, 2020, to hold a Biblical Research 2020 in October, ideally October 28 or 31, 2020, using the SSD budget, subject for proposal and approval. That budget is, of course, as stated already, it's 2,000. That is subject for proposal. Sorry. The exact duration will be confirmed later with SSD, whether it would start on Wednesday until Saturday. It is up to us to organize and confirm with them. The second motion will be Central Zone 2 pastors will decide before Vespers, Friday, September 11, 2020, to hold an NDR IEL public evangelism in November, ideally on November 22 to 28, using $2,500 US dollars budget from SSD already. Okay, so after that, once we decide on 1 and 2, then I have the third motion that evangelistic committees and biblical research committees be organized to plan starting September 13 until 19, 2020. Okay, it is important that we follow this one because of the short time notice, and that I have to communicate with him as soon as possible. And whatever decision you have until before Vespers tomorrow night, September 11, whatever, then I will make my own action then after this one. I hope you will decide on this. You'll second the motion for it to be considered. If not, then I will bring this to my churches. God bless us all.